सो मच। जितेश सर एक बार आप शेयर करके देखिए प्लीज।
हाँ जितेश सर जल्दी करो, और विजय सर आप भी कर लो एक बार।
क्या सर, क्या चीज?
सर एक बार चला चला कर देख लो।
नहीं सर, मैं ऐसी चीजें अपने हाथ में रखता ही नहीं जो टेक्निकल इश्यू हो जाए। वो हमारे जो गुरुजी बैठे हुए हैं, जितेश जी और बड़े बड़े लोग हैं, तो जो टेक्निकल चीजें हैं वो लोग सॉल्व कर लेते हैं।
वो तो अनूप सर का थैंक्स।
नहीं, अनूप सर तो ऑलवेज इज ऑलवेज देयर टू गाइड अस। तरविंदर सर हो गए, अनूप सर हो गए, रमन सर है, उमेश भाई है, अपने राजन भाई हैं, विजय शर्मा है, सारे भाई हमारे सीनियर हैं।
सर विजिबल है?
मुझे तो है, बाकी
विजिबल है, विजिबल है, स्क्रीन शेयरिंग है,
है।
विजिबल है एंड रिकॉर्डिंग स्टार्ट हो गई है आपकी पीडीपी की।
अच्छा ओके सर।
सर मैं एक बार ये
प्लीज
check
अपने इस तरफ भी ध्यान दें।
करूं एक बार।
हो जाएगा, प्ले करके देखो।
आइडेंटिफाई पोटेंशियल सिक्योरिटी कैन बी हार्मफुल। सर
थैंक यू जितेश सर। फर्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज, फर्स्ट वन। फर्स्ट वन स्टार्टिंग। Jitesh sir, can you switch to first slide?
एक
All
मिनट।
moving. All are moving. We can see that. Thank you.
अब ठीक है सर?
Yeah, okay. Good morning, all of you. On behalf of Amity International School, Pushviyar, I welcome you all in this session of PDP.
विजय सर 11 o'clock डेड स्टार्ट करेंगे।
Okay.
अभी
आपने बोला कि रिकॉर्डिंग शुरू हो गई है तो मैंने स्टार्ट कर दिया सर।
नहीं रिकॉर्डिंग शुरू हुई है, वो एक्चुअली सब एचओ के हाथ में है ना, तो उन्होंने रिकॉर्डिंग स्टार्ट कर दी थी 10:55 पर।
हम तो देखते हैं सर, ऑन योर मार्क सेट एंड गो, तो हम तो वाले लोग हैं।
जी सर जी सर जी सर।
चलो वेट कर लेते हैं सर, नो इश्यूज।
एंड अगेन मैं अपनी स्क्रीन शेयर कर रहा हूँ स्टार्टिंग के लिए। जितेश सर आपको दोबारा शेयर करना पड़ेगा। ओके,
मैंने स्टॉप कर दिया सर।
So again, welcome to second session of PDP. I am Anup Shankar Bhardwaj, Head of Department Sports. On behalf of AIS G46, welcome you all to our second session of PDP. Now I would like to greet our first resource person, Mr. Vijay Payal, with virtual Tulsi sapling.
Thank you so much, Anup sir.
Mr. Vijay Payal, our first resource person of second session. He's a physical education teacher and HOD of AIS Push Vihar. And our second resource person, Mr. Jitesh Kumar, with virtual Tulsi sapling. Mr. Jitesh Kumar is a physical education teacher and an expert in traditional karate with overall experience of 32 years. He has been an absolute asset to AIS Mayur Vihar in his achievement. He is represented India in World Karate Championship for 3 times. Amity is proud to be associated with you for 18 years now. So, welcome, sir. Now I request our resource person to kindly take our Vijay, sir.
Thank you once again, Anup sir. Thank you so much for this warm welcome. So, good morning, everyone. I am Vijay Payal, and I welcome you all on behalf of MIT International School Push Vihar. It's been more than 17 years I'm in MIT, and I'm working for MIT. So, thank you so much for your love and support throughout the years. So now I'm straight away coming to the topic, what we are going to learn today, and what responsibility I got to teach you all about test and measurement chapter. So let's start with it. So my topic is test and measurement. And next slide, please. I hope my voice and my camera is all okay. It's coming good.
Yes, sir. Absolutely
All
correct,
fine,
sir.
sir. All fine, all good.
Thank you so much, everyone. So my session will be, distributed into these parts. As you can see in your slide, there will be, first part will be about the content, the syllabus of the chapter. And second point, I will be taking about this weightage of the chapter in board examination. Then I will tell you about the learning objectives about this chapter. Afterward, because as we know that this topic is about test and measurement, and there is more into practical aspect, not theoretical. So I will show you various videos and variety of videos to get better idea of the practical part of these tests. So I'm not going into the lecture methodology. So I will show you these videos, and yes, of course, I have this PPT also. If you want me to explain that, I can do that also. But as we have this time foundation with us, so the best what we can do, we'll do that. So afterward, the fifth point is we'll talk about different patterns of the questions which can come in board examination, just like MCQs and assertion and region type of questions, pictorial type of questions, and match the following kind of questions. So these type of questions we will discuss in this session. Next will be the question of previous year and some model question papers which were there in previous year examinations. So I will show you some slides about that also. So second, this seventh point will be of practice questions. So practice question, how you can give question to the children so that they can practice those questions at home, and later on you can get the assignment back. So that will be also in this session. Next, eighth point will be the common errors what children do while attempting the questions. So we will discuss on that point also. So it will be very superficially, it will be very brief. I will not go into deep all these points. So I hope you can understand that, because of the time foundation, all this we need to be restricted into a time bomb. So lastly, the self-assessment through quiz, Google form, or peer deck, we can do that. And afterward, if you have any suggestion, you can all tell me, and I will rectify your questions and answers. So let's start with the first slide, the main point, the content. As you know that there are total 4 tests in our course, motor fitness test. I'm not reading all these points because you all know that you all are teacher and you are teaching this subject or this topic from many years. So I'm not going into the depth of this thing. So just to give superficially, knowledge of this, motor fitness test is the one test. Second is your measurement of cardiovascular fitness, Harvard test and Rockport test. And third point is your Barrow test. And fourth is your Reckley-Enjo senior citizen test. So we will be covering all these things one by one. Next slide, please. So now I was talking about the weightage of this chapter. So near about 15 to 20% of your, here I'm talking about the theory part. I'm not talking about the practical, because the entire practical is based on this this chapter only. So whatever we do on the ground during our practical session, all are from this chapter only. So this chapter is very, very important to understand, and you have to tell the students that they can't miss all the tests and what kind of purpose and procedure are there while doing this test. So this is basically carries 15 to 20 marks. I've previous slide, please, Jitesh sir. I've mentioned this. Why I've written 15 to 20%? Because I've given an example, like if the question comes, 1 marker question come, 2 marker, 2 question come of 3 marker, and 1 question comes for 5 marker. So in total, it will be around 12 marks. So out of 70 marks, because our theory is of 70, so out of 70, if 12% is there, so it will make around 18%. So that's why I've given 15 to 20%. It can vary. It can vary 2-3% up and 2-3% down also. So it's not a fix, but to give the student just an idea so that they can get the knowledge of the weightage of this chapter. So next point, please. Next slide. So here are the learning objectives which we'll get to know about after completing this entire session. So first we'll go about this test and measurement, what is all meant about test and measurement and the role of it in different aspects of life. Secondly, we will talk about the detail and various fitness tests which are there, and how to apply those tests on practically on field. We will see all these through videos, right? So next point after this is the knowledge of various question patterns, so that the student can get 100% of marks in this topic. And final will be the self-assessment through our Google form and quiz, so that we can get to know how the student, how much knowledge student has gained during this session. So next slide, please. And my speed is okay? Is it fine, or it is going very fast?
It is okay, sir.
It is okay. Thank you so much. So, I'm starting with this term, test and measurement. As you can see on your slide, the test is written. Test is basically, we say that it is a procedure, it's a tool, it's a device, it's a method to evaluate the skill and performance of an athlete, okay, of doing any kind of activity. So whatever he's performing to evaluate that skills, we keep all these tests. And measurement is basically the outcome of test. Jitesh sir, please remain in the, thank you. So measurement is basically the collection of data through the test with what we have done. to that particular sports person. So these are the basically two, and it is very important to understand in Viva, the examiner can ask in theory as well, this question can come. So next slide, please. So here we are taking the main point now, the test, motor fitness test. You all know that there are total 7 tests in this test. So I'm not going to read out all the names. These are in the slide. So next slide, please. So just to keep those students in a right direction, you will tell them to remember all these 6 points, because all the tests, not only this 50-meter dash, all the tests of this motor fitness requires these 6 points. So these points are, what do you measure? That's mean the purpose of this test, why you are doing this test. So if the student knows these 6 points, definitely he can write something about this particular topic. So what does it measure? The infrastructure and equipment, what's all required for 50-meter dash, the scoring, how you can score its timing or its performance, so that will be there. Then administrative suggestion will be there, and how to perform, that means the procedure of that particular test. And lastly, the index of scoring. So the person who has got a score, so you will keep that. There is a scoring chart there. I will show you in the next slides. So what is that index chart? So here I'm giving you a dummy only, so that you can get to know how children will write, or you can show them this kind of thing, so that they can get the idea to how to write about these tests. So all 6 points are there, and I've described and I've written the theoretical part of this. So as you can see, it measures the acceleration and speed, infrastructure required, a stopwatch, marker, track, cone, markers, 60-meter track. 60-meter we require 60-meter because to reduce our speed, because the test is of 50-meter sprint. So when the fellow will finish the sprint, he requires some to stop their momentum, so that he doesn't get injured. So he requires 60-meter track. So that's the thing behind this. And administrative suggestion, you will always focus. You will tell him to focus on the pace. You will emphasis on the movement and the closing finish as well. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is the procedure. This is the method, how they can write, how your student can write about the procedure of the test. And lastly, in the bottom, you can see the index, scoring index, from where you can judge the performance of the child. So if we getting 7 seconds, the time is written is 7 is basically the second. It's not minutes. 7 seconds. If it is coming below 7 seconds, that means he's in excellent position. 7.5 is good position. 8 is the average, and 8.5 is fair. Then poor and bad. Next slide, please. So here I'm showing you the video link of this test, and like this only, I will continue with the other tests also. I will not, explain all the procedures and all. So I will just show that. Right.
The aim of 50-meter dash is to determine the acceleration and the speed of the participant. The test involves running a single sprint over 50 meters. Start from a stationary standing position with one foot in front of the other. The front foot must be behind the starting line. Participants are encouraged to not slow down before crossing the finish line. Once the participants are ready and motionless, the instructor gives the cue to start. Participants should be encouraged to practice running with the emphasis placed on the concept of pace. Time taken to complete the 50-meter dash for each of the participants is recorded.
Thank you, sir. So like this, you can show your students these kinds of videos. These videos can give better idea, and they will understand it more practically, because in this video virtually you can see the boy is running and he's running on the track. So it will be a better idea to showcase these kind of videos in your session. So next is your 60-meter run and walk. All these things are same. If you want me to explain all these points, I can explain you. So whatever you say, what about this thing? Should I explain it or should I go further?
Sir, you continue, sir.
I continue, sir. It's fine. I should
Yes. Yes. We can go to the
next slide. Straight away to the link, sir. Yeah, you can play this, sir. This is for 60-meter run and walk.
The aim of 600-meter run is to measure the cardiovascular fitness and endurance. The test involves running a single sprint over 600 meters. Participants should start from a stationary standing position with one foot in front of the other. The front foot must be behind the starting line. Participants are instructed to run 600 meters in the fastest possible pace. Once the participants are ready and motionless, the instructor gives the cue to start. Participants should be encouraged to practice running with emphasis placed on the concept of pace. Results are usually better if the participant can maintain constant pace during most of the run and use a strong closing effort. Time taken to complete the 600-meter run is recorded.
So this was about 600-meter run. So next, our test is partial curl up for 30 seconds. The maximum partial curl up you can do in 30 seconds will be counted. So please move on to the next slide. Yes, sir. Next slide again, please. Yeah, the link. Yeah. So these videos are very, very small. These are of 1 minute only. So
the curl-up test measures abdominal muscular strength and endurance of the abdominal and hip flexors. Arrange a flat, clean, cushioned surface with two parallel strips that are 6 inches apart and a stopwatch to record the timings. Lie down on a flat, cushioned, clean surface with knees flexed at 90 degrees and hands straight on the sides. Palms should be facing downwards, closer to the ground and parallel to the body. Raise the trunk in a smooth motion, keeping the arms in position. After curling up to the desired degree, the trunk should be lowered back to the floor so that the shoulder blades or upper back visibly touches the floor. Use the stopwatch to record the maximum number of curl-ups in the time period of 30 seconds.
Jitesh, sir, please move on to the next slide. And next, please. So this is partial curl up for modified push-ups. This is basically for push-up test. So there are two variations, one for boys and one for girls. And one boys will do complete push-up and girls will modify the push-ups by keeping the knees on the floor. So please play the video.
Push-up test measures the upper body strength, endurance, and trunk stability of the participant. Push-up begins with the hands and toes touching the floor. The body and legs should be in a straight line. The feet should be slightly apart. The arms at shoulder width apart, extended and at a right angle to the body. Keeping the back and knees straight, the participant should lower the body until there is a 90-degree angle at the elbows. The participant must return back to the starting position with the arms extended. This action should be repeated until exhaustion. For girls, the entire action is the same except the push-up technique, which is with the knees resting on the ground during the movement.
So I hope this test is also clear, this push-up test, and modified for girls. So next we're going to this sit and reach test. So please next slide. In the scoring index. Next slide, please. Yeah.
ये टेस्ट प्रतिभागी के लचीलेपन का एक कॉमन मापक है। ये विशेषकर पीठ और जांघ की मांसपेशियों के लचीलेपन को मापता है। इस टेस्ट को करने के लिए एक सिट एंड रीच बॉक्स की आवश्यकता होती है। सिट एंड रीच बॉक्स की साइड्स 12 बाय 12 इंच, आगे और पीछे 12 बाय 10 इंच और टॉप का 12 बाय 21 इंच का होना जरूरी है। टॉप पैनल को सेंटीमीटर और मिलीमीटर में अंकित होना चाहिए। इस टेस्ट को करने के लिए प्रतिभागी नंगे पैर अपनी टांगों को सीधा रखते हुए फर्श पर बैठता है। उसके दोनों पैरों के तले सिट एंड रीच बॉक्स के सामने लगे होने चाहिए। इस दौरान दोनों घुटनों को दबाकर टांगों को सीधा रखा जाता है। प्रशिक्षक चाहे तो घुटनों को दबाकर रखने में सहायता भी कर सकता है। हथेलियां नीचे की ओर रखते हुए दोनों हाथों को एक के ऊपर एक रखकर प्रतिभागी आगे झुकते हुए अपने हाथों को बॉक्स पर रखता है और इसे आरंभिक रीडिंग रिकॉर्ड माना जाएगा। सुनिश्चित करें कि आगे की ओर झुकते समय हाथ एक साथ बने रहें। अपने हाथों को जितना संभव हो सके अधिकतम दूरी तक ले जाकर कुछ समय के लिए रुकता है। प्रतिभागी का स्कोर पहली और दूसरी रीडिंग के बीच की दूरी होगी।
Very much, Jitesh sir. So next test will be about shuttle run. So you all know that what is shuttle run. Basically the aim of the shuttle run is for check your speed and agility. So please move on to the next slide, to the link, sir.
Hey everyone, it's Mr. Fu. This week I'd like for you to see how fast you are. I'd like for you to do something called the Shuttle Run. It's a test of speed and agility. It's pretty easy to set up. All you would need is 2 blocks or 2 balls, and you would put it 30 feet from the starting point. So here's how you set it up.
All the setting is done for shuttle run.
So when you do this, you would start at the beginning, and then when you run to one end, you only pick up 1 block, and you run back to the beginning, and you drop it, then you run to get the second one, and then you run to the beginning again and run through the starting line. You can do it for fun, you can race another person, or you can have someone time you with a timer. And if you do have someone time you with a timer, 11 seconds or better or less is the goal to get. So here's an example of me doing the shuttle run.
Started running.
I would suggest to do the shuttle run 3 times this week, maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And each time you do it, try to do it about 6 times each day. All right, have a good day.
Yeah. So here we are finishing this shuttle run also, and lastly is the standing broad jump. So let me explain this so that you know all the videos are there about the test, and let me explain this one briefly. The standing broad jump is basically to check your explosive and strength and power. So infrastructure required is basically non-slippery floor is required for this, and the landing area should be preferred very soft. So where the person is jumping and landing, that area should be so it is soft. That will be very good, and there is no water and no slippery kind of stuff should be there. So scoring will be the maximum distance covered by the person in 3 attempts. That person can get 3 attempts in this test. So whatever the best attempt is he did, so you will mark that as his best. So procedure is he will stand close to that takeoff board, and then he will slowly bend down and swing his arm and throw himself upward and forward direction, and try to cover maximum distance. So that's the procedure, and then you can see in this slide the scoring index as well. So from there you can judge that students where he is standing. So next type please. So we have covered our motor fitness test. I hope it was a good session, informative session, because I used all the videos and all to teach you. So next one is our Harvard step test, and this is basically for our cardiovascular fitness. So when we talk about Harvard step test, and we're going to teach about the Harvard step test, we will tell the historical background about this test as well, because most of the time student does the mistake, they doesn't write a small historical background of this test, from where it is started and who all started it. So that is little better if the student will write, suppose the 5-marker question comes about this Harvard step test, he should write about the test, why we are doing this test, and who invented this test, who developed this test. So as we know that this test is for cardiorespiratory fitness, and it was developed by Broa in the year 1943, and that time the Second World War. So this is the basically small and brief historical background about this test. So we can move on the second slide. Yeah, so here are the video link. The second one, Jitesh sir, yeah, you can click this one. It will a complete idea about this Harvard step test, the procedure, the method, the thing. And after finishing this test, we'll calculate the pulse count 3 times. It's a long one. You are in the next slide. So, okay, thank you so much, Jitesh. Next slide, please. So I told you about the historical background of this Harvard test as well. So please move on to the next slide. So there are two formula, short formula, long formula. In the short formula, there's, the formula is little change. The duration of
step test. For the Harvard step test, you will first of all take your resting heart rate, and so you'll be calculating or measuring your heart rate either radial, which is at the base of your thumb, or if you're struggling to find your radial pulse, then it may be easier for you to find it at the carotid, which is on your neck. And what you're going to do for the first part of the test is count the number of beats in 30 seconds and then multiply this figure by 2, and that will give you your resting heart rate.
Yeah, it's better now, sir.
Before commencing the test, after you've taken your resting heart rate measurements, we would recommend that you do some stretching so as to loosen up the muscles and joints and to allow you to warm up to avoid any form of injury to the muscles or any soft tissue damage. What you will do is you'll start your stopwatch when your colleague or yourself, if you're operating this test on your own, takes their first step onto the step with their right foot. And what you're doing is operating in stepping cycles, which is your right foot up onto the step, followed by your left foot up onto the step, and then you're down, down. That would be one stepping cycle. So if you can just remember up, up, down, down, you'll be operating in perfect stepping cycles, remembering to operate those cycles within time of your metronome, which you will set at 120 beats per minute, which will mean that you're operating in stepping cycles that are appropriate for 30 cycles within a minute. You'll step for a full 5 minutes. If at some point in time you feel noise and circles you're out of breath, you can stop the test at any time. And once you're 5 minutes of the stepping cycles, sit down immediately and wait 1 minute at rest. And 1 minute after, so 6 minutes should now be showing on your stopwatch.
Yeah. Thank you, Jitesh, sir. Thank you so much. Okay. So our next topic, this Harvard step test, I was talking about the long formula and short formula. And long formula where we are taking 3 pulse rates, and short formula we are only taking 1 pulse rate. And there is little change in this formula also. So you can guide the students about this long formula, short formula, right? So that's the thing. So now we are moving to the next slide. I've shown this, equation solved by me only, and we have shown all these slides. Please move on to the next one, sir. And this is again the explanation of the formula. Please move on. So So in Harvard step test, if the student can write about the advantages and disadvantages as well. So that is also very, very important to guide them and to teach them that if we'll talk about the advantages. So the advantages, around 3-4 advantages are there. Like that procedure is very simple to do, and it takes a minimum cost to perform, and the chances of mistakes are very, very less in Harvard step tests because it's very scientific and it's very very focused kind of test. Next is the disadvantage of this Harvard step test is the anthropometric measurements of individuals is different. As the box size is similar to everyone, like 20 inches box is there for boys, so the size is different, same for everyone, but the anthropometric measurement is different for everyone. So those who are short heighted, it will be very difficult for them to continue for 5 minutes. So that is the one disadvantage. And the second disadvantage is the body weight. So if a person is of 100 kg and a person is of 50 kg, so it will be very easy to that 50 kg person to continue on that box for 5 minutes, and it will be very difficult for that 100 kg person to continue with. So this is the thing. So you can guide this point also to the students. So next, please. So Rockport Rockport test. When we talk about this test, so it is also there is some historical background behind this. So this test is started in the year 1986 by various physiologists and cardiologists, and the test was developed in USA, America. So you can tell this thing to the kids. So next, please. So after this, there will be a link. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Professor Islam, and today I'm going to show you how to conduct the Rockport 1-mile walking test. Now, this test could be conducted indoors on a treadmill, but if you don't have access to that, make sure that you pick a really nice path, nice and flat, that you could monitor 1 mile is. Now, before you actually do the test, you want to make sure that you're wearing athletic gear or loose-fitting clothing and really nice, comfortable walking shoes. Also ensure that you have some water. Using an app of your choice, and I like to use Strava, I pull up my map, make sure that I've got my walk pulled up, and I'm going to start. Now, I'm going to try and walk as fast as you can for 1 mile.
Main thing is that
all right, make sure to close it out right when you finish. Save that, and then you have enough time to have 5 seconds to find your radial pulse. Make sure to take that 15-second pulse count, multiply it by 4, because that's the heart rate that you're going to be using for your Rockport 1-mile test cardiovascular measure.
Thank you. Thank you, Jitesh sir. So after doing this, so let's move on to the next one. So all this administration, how you have seen the video, you got to know about this thing, and this is the formula basically to calculate this test. So please move on to the next one. Next, please. I'm not going to all these explanation because it will be very lengthy then. So please move on to the next slide. So now we are going to this Reckley and Jones senior citizen test. As you know, please next slide, please. So here I am covering all the test, and there are the video links. So if you want me to play all these links, so I can do that. If you want me to continue with further, so I can do that also. So all depends on the listener. What do you say, everyone? Should I go with these videos, all the videos? Because the time is, I think, very less. So we have to cover a lot of topics. Should I continue with this video or should I move on? Anup sir, Raman sir?
Yes, sir.
Should I show all these videos to you all?
Sir, time देख लीजिए 11:40 हो रहा है.
That's why, sir. So I'm moving. I know that you all know about all these tests and what these are this test. I'm moving further. Please skip all these. These are the tests for senior citizen, As you can see, arm curl test, they are using dumbbell. And next, please. Sit and reach for flexibility, lower body flexibility by extending one leg, and back stretch test, flexibility for upper back. Next test is for 8-foot up and go test for balance and agility. Next is 6-minute run. Next, please. Yeah, next, please. So now we are on to the main, thing, which is very, very important to keep in your class, so that student get a better idea of what kind of question can come in the examination. So here I am showing you some MCQs, some objective type questions. So you can see on your screen, and the answers are already there with white color. So these are these kind of questions you can make to show your students. So this is the thing you can continue with. Next slide, please. So yeah. This mic is so this is now we will talk about this model question paper and the CBSE questions which are there in the past previous years. So as you can see in the screen, the calculate the physical index using the short formula for 12-year boy having completed the Harvard step test for a duration of 3 minutes. Here we are talking about 3 minutes. We are not talking about 5 minutes. So this thing you have to tell the student, if the question comes about 3 minutes, so the time duration will be less, and if the time duration comes for 5 minutes, then the seconds will be more. So for 3 minutes, it will be 180 seconds, and 5 minutes, it will be around 300 seconds. So that this thing they have to keep in their mind. So the answer is here, you can see. So by this way, you can guide the children. So solve. Next question, please. Yes, next question is again, which motor quality does a senior citizen lack to find difficulty in tying a shoelace while sitting on a chair? So when you put this kind of situation in front of the student, they will reply, and definitely the answer is here. You can see the flexibility is the main thing. Next is after this, which your grandmother feels she was reduced upper body flexibility, and therefore she wants to test herself. So which test should you suggest? So that is basically from senior citizen test, back scratch test. Next one, please. Yeah, question number 4. Which test you suggest for your grandmother to test lower body flexibility? This is also again from senior citizen test, and that is chair sit and reach test. Next question, please. So now we are on to 3 marker. This kind of question are already there in previous years. So explain the Rockport test. So here you will explain all the procedure and everything about the Rockport test. Yeah, the formula is very, very important to write. So tell your kids to memorize that formula so that they will not get any mark deduction in the examination. So I'm giving you just a small example how you can write the procedure. Next one, please. Next, yeah. So describe in detail about the 8-foot up and go test, agility. So you can write. Next slide, please. So by this way, you can write about the entire procedure. So this is the thing you can guide your students. Next one, please. Now we are coming to the 5-marker question. So 5-marker question, how the cardiovascular fitness is measured with the help of Harvard step test. So here we are talking about the Harvard step test. So you will write the entire, definition and historical, because this is of 5 marks. So you will write each and everything. You will not keep anything in yourself, and you will take back to the home. You will guide your student that, see, whatever you know about Harvard step test, the historical background, the procedure, the importance, everything, the short formula, long formula, everything they can write in this. They will get this 5 marks. So I'm giving this small example how they can write. The formula is very, very important. The pulse count is very, very important. So if specifically they will ask about 3-minute test, so you will write then 3-minute test. If they are asking about the entire hardware step test, so you will write both ways. You will write both the formulas. So next one, please. So describe the exit of Reckley and Jones. This question was there in 2014 examination. So this will be this type. You can write the answer, and you will explain all these chair and sit test, arm curl test. These are very important to explain because this is of 5 marks. So next question is there about Rudra is working on a project for collect data for assessing the physical fitness among senior citizens at the residential complex. So he plans to administer test for assessing lower body flexibility, upper body flexibility, and lower body strength. So here the question is about 3 things he's asking. So one is the upper body flexibility, lower body flexibility, and lower body strength. So the answer will be, next slide, please. So the answer, the Q, I'm just giving the Q here. So rest, the student will explain about all these 3 tests. So sit and reach test is there, back scratch test is there, and chair sit and up test is there. Next slide, please. Yeah, these value-based questions are also very important to tell your student that these kind of questions will definitely come in the examination. So the question is, while taking medicine by Ronnie's grandfather, a pill was dropped which was slipped under the bed. The old man was not able to bend down. So seeing this, Ronnie quickly picked up the pill under the bed and also poured a glass of water to his grandpa to swallow the pill. So after reading all this entire statement, so there is 3 questions. So what values Ronnie is showing? Which test can be suggested to measure the fitness of grandpa? And who prepared the fitness test for elderly people? So here is the answer. You can see kindness, care, respect, and so on. Next slide, please. So these kind of pictorial questions can also come in the exam. You can see this picture will be showing on that examination paper, and they will ask student to write the name of this test. So please the answer. Next slide, please. Sit and reach test is there, back scratch test is there, 8 foot up and go test is, partial curl up is there. Next slide, please. So assertion region type of question is also there. All these are coming there nowadays. So the entire pattern is changed now. So you can see on your screen. So the answer is both A and R is true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Next slide, please. Match the following is also there. This kind of question is also there in the examination, and practice type question. You can give these kind of pattern to your student for judging their knowledge about this entire topic. So, and common errors, you can see what the common errors students are doing nowadays while attempting the examination. They are confused between the term test and measurement, and a lot of other generally students get confused between Rockport 1 mile test and Reckley and Jones test. There are a lot of confusion between this. Generally students get confused about the Rockport test and Harvard step test also. So these are some common errors they can make. So you will guide, if you will guide them, definitely they will look into this matter. Next slide, please. Yeah. So here we are covering all the topics and all the pattern there. Now I will ask Jitesh to upload the quiz in the chat box so that everyone can answer.
Vijay sir, can you share the link, please?
I shared you Already shared you, Jitesh sir.
In WhatsApp, sir?
Anup sir, I know that the time is, I have taken 5-6 minutes extra. I'm so sorry for that because this chapter was very big and I have to cover a lot of points. So kindly excuse me for that. Anup Shankar sir.
Sir, actually 11:50 almost हो चुके हैं.
I have 5 minutes more. That's why I'm keeping my both hands like this. Sorry for that. So this is the last one and we'll find out.
सर वो क्विज का लिंक मुझे चाहिए होगा.
Yeah. Okay, I will post it later on.
Yes, Naman sir.
Thank you so much for joining. I hope you like the session. If anybody having any suggestion, they can ask. Yeah, Raman sir, you are raising your hand.
No, nothing, sir. Just by mistake, I think.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I wanted to give you thumbs up.
Thank you so much, sir. It was useful for you all. I tried to cover the very big topic into very small time. So that was the thing. So thank you so much, everyone, for participating. And I will post the quiz to this chat box later on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And please fill up the feedback form of RP1 of session 2, Mr. Vijay Payal. I have already posted in chat box.
Thank you so much, sir. May I leave, sir? Anup sir?
Yes, thank you so much, Vijay sir. And
thank you for being so patient and listening.
And welcome again our resource person 2, Mr. Jitesh Kumar. Sir, I request to please take over the PDP session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Anup sir. Good afternoon. It's a good morning. Still good morning. Good morning, all of you, all the senior members who is sitting here, and all my friends, colleague. I'm going to present today the PDP presentation or today I am going to take a presentation on physical education PDP. It's today I am going to take Unit 4, Physical Education and Sports for CWSN. Before I start this chapter, I want to share one motivational story, because this chapter is basically for the special need children, those who are special children, special people. So for this group in our society, we required lots of motivation. So I'm going to share one fantastic motivational video with you. Please watch this.
This is a true story from 1938. The story of Kareli, a fanatical army from Hungary who was the best pistol shooter of his country at the time. With every national championship title, Kareli was all set and prepared to bring the gold medal home for his country at the 1940s Olympics. And everyone in his country was dead sure he would make them proud. Because he wasn't just a normal shooter, he was the one and only Kareli who had the best shooting hand in the nation. It was only 2 years before the Olympics in the year 1938, at an army training camp, Kareli met with an unfortunate accident. an accident that made him lose his right hand. The hand that he was training with for all his life to get that one gold medal at the Olympics. All his dreams were shattered in seconds. Karoli now only had two options with him. The first option was to cry over his right hand and disappear from the crowd. And the second option was to do whatever it takes to hold on to the dream of becoming the best shooter in the world. Karoli chose the second option. He focused not on what he had already lost, but what he still had. And what he still had was his left hand, with which he could barely even write. However, after a month-long medical treatment, Karoli started training with his left hand. Following a year-long training in 1939, he went on to participate at the National Championship of Pistol Shooting in his country. All the shooters were competing with their best hands, but Karoli was competing with his only hand. Everyone underestimated Karoli. They tried to console him for his injury. Little did they know he would be leaving all of them behind and winning the championship title with his only hand. Karoli proved everyone wrong with this win. But he didn't stop there. He wanted his hand not just to be the best hand in his country. He wanted his hand to be the best hand in the world. His goal was clear. He was fully determined to win the Olympics after a year. But unfortunately, the 1940 Olympics got cancelled because of the Second World War. He didn't lose hope. He said, "It's all right. I can still prove myself at the next Olympics in 1944. But guess what? The 1944 Olympics too got cancelled because of the war. He was getting old, and everyone thought it would be impossible for him to compete with the young players after 4 years in 1948 Olympics. But he had to prove himself. So he went on to participate in the 1948 Olympics at the age of 38. All the shooters in the world were competing with their best hands. This guy again was competing with his only hand. Who do you think won the Olympics? Of course, the man with the only hand. Karoli won the gold medal for his country. People thought he'd stop there, but he didn't. After 4 years, at the age of 42, in 1952 Olympics, Karoli once again showed an incredible example of true passion and dedication, winning the gold medal for his country. This time, not only did he win the competition, but also created history. Nobody had won 2 gold medals consecutively in this competition before him. Karoli was a true hero. Never did he make one excuse to swerve away from his goal. What's your excuse? For more videos like this, click on our channel and subscribe for more.
So I hope everybody enjoyed this video.
This is a
in this chapter, there is a total weightage of the marks is a first term is 9 marks and then a final term is a 5 marks. But as you can see that CBSE is making lots of changes. This I have put it what we have done it in our last meeting. But there are the changes, and as you know that in the first term only the MCQ questions are going to come. So whatever the things we will decide in our meeting, we will do it in our first term examination. Now, what are the learning objects we are going to get it in this chapter? Improve Divyang student health through physical education, involve adapted physical education student with normal students, give AP students chance to participate in different level tournaments, special need children get proper services according to his and her need. Now, In this chapter, there are the contents. Very first is aim and objective of adapted physical education, organization which helps the special need children to promote, that is organization promoting adapted physical sports, that is sports Olympic, Special Olympic Bharat, Paralympics and Deaflympics. Concept of inclusion, it need an implementation. Rule of various professional for children with special needs, that is counselor, occupational therapist, physiotherapist, physical education teacher, speech therapist and special educator. These are the people who normally help the special children, special people to cope up, to improve their life skills and all. So these are also there in this chapter, and we should discuss on this also. Children with various type of disabilities such as mental retardation, deafness or other hearing impairment, speech or language impairment, blindness, orthopedic impairment, autism, autonomic brain injury, poor body mechanics, health impairment, etc., have the right to develop their abilities in democratic society through the process of education. But usually it is seen that they have limited opportunities. So it becomes the duty of our all school to provide them with such opportunities so that they develop their abilities. See, this chapter is included in physical education for a purpose. We talk about lots of things about our special children, and the physical education is also taken an initiative to include these children in our regular curriculum, in a regular school. That's why this chapter was also included, and the society and the government and the schools are working a lot on this side, because there is a big chunk, big population is there in our society who is special need people. Such children are unable to undertake activities that are performed by normal children. So in addition to the regular program of physical education designed for normal children, the school must provide special physical education program for such children who are unable to receive benefits from regular physical education program. As I said, this is the purpose. Adapted or adapted physical education is a sub-discipline of physical education. It is an individualized program developed for students who required a specially designed program of physical education. The program of adapted or adapted physical education involved physical fitness, motor fitness, fundamental motor skills and patterns, aquatic skill, dance skill, individual and group games, and so on. Now, when we talk about the meaning of adaptive or adapted physical education is the physical education which has been adapted or changed so that it may be appropriate for the differently able person as it is for a person without disability. In simple word, we can be stated that adapted physical education is basically a specially designed physical education program for differently abled students. So as I said, this is the meaning and why it is included in a normal education program. Now, there are aims and objectives of adapted physical education program. I will be more on concerned about the aims and objective of the adapted physical education program, because this is a very important for the society, I can say. It's a, you can say, emotional chapter, I can say that. And the students, they ask lots of questions when I take this chapter. So I have to keep on telling them the reasons and all. And I also personally have an experience in my school when there was a one child. I will not take the name of that child, but that child, we saw them from the childhood, even from the nursery KG1. Earlier he was able to walk, run, but later on he was having a problem, and then he came into the wheelchair. And you will come to know that that child was supported by the entire class. Means the whole class was taking care of that child, and that was very wonderful. And when he used to come for our sports period and a games period, I especially make him comfortable and make him sure that he also participate in the regular game. Like if the students are participating in a basketball game, I put a basket and then I asked him to throw the ball in that basket because he was on a wheelchair. So, and I asked 2 or 3 students to even go with him and play with him. So he also don't feel bad that, oh, the sports period is not for me, for this is for the normal children. And you will come to know and you will feel very happy that child always liked to come to the physical education class or a sports class. He was waiting for that class. So this was basically when I come to know about the this chapter, physical education and sports for CWSN, I realized it why this is so important. The aim of adaptive and adapted physical education is to help or aid differently able students to achieve physical, mental, emotional, and social growth proportionate to their potential through special planned program or regular physical education and recreational activities. In fact, it's aimed to provide equal opportunity to the differently able student to participate in physical education program safely and successfully in a least restricted environment. I am audible, all of you?
Yes, sir, audible. Audible, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you, sir. So when we talk about the aim and of adapted physical education, these games play an important role in the development and health of Divyang. Differently able tournament has been organized for these students such as district, state and national level, etc. 16 summers, 7 winters and 2 regional games are organized for these children. These children are made capable to participate in international tournaments. Equipment are made available according to demand. These are the aims when we talk about the adapted physical education. Now we come to the objective of adapted physical education. There are following objectives of adapted physical education. Very first is to ensure services to meet special needs, develop motor skill, enhance self-esteem and self-image, ensure participation of student in physical education program, improve physical fitness, motivate students to protect themselves, promote sportsmanship qualities, develop knowledge of good mechanics, improve social advancement. Now, when we talk about the ensure services to meet special needs, the main as well as foremost objective of adapted physical education to ensure that a differently able student is provided with a physical education services that meet his or her unique or special need appropriate. This is very important. As I shared my experience with you, we should make them comfortable when they are on the ground or when they are coming for the physical education class or a sports class. And we make all the students sensitive when they are playing with these type of children. Develop motor skill. As you know that these children require more concentration because they have a deformity in their body. So another significant object of adapted physical education is to develop motor skill of students with disabilities. Motor skills are essential for performing not only specific tasks but daily routine activities also. These skills enable physically disabled students to become active and agile. See, these children, very most important thing is we make them independent. If we are through physical education, if we are making them independent and they are able to perform their day-to-day life by their own day-to-day need, they are able to fulfill their routine work. It is fantastic for them and they feel that, oh, we are also a part of this society. We are not left out. enhance self-esteem and self-confidence. To enhance self-esteem and self-confidence of students who are differently abled in another important objective of adapted physical education. In fact, all students can do activities according to their abilities. So goal for students, for example, to throw a ball 25 times, if they perform it easily after a certain period of time, their goal can be set higher. If the goals set are realistic, then students can achieve them by working on their motor skill, thus increasing their self-esteem and self-image. See, when these children, मेरे साथ क्या होता था उस बच्चे के साथ कि जब मैं उसको कोई टास्क देता था और वो जब कर लेता था तो उसके चेहरे पे जो खुशी होती थी, that was incredible. So when I was talking about this enhanced self-esteem and self-image, that actually reflect there. So it was my practical experience that I saw in that child. Ensure participation of student in physical education program. Another important objective of adapted physical education is to ensure that each student actively participate in physical education program regularly at his or her own level, and that the students is integrated into the regular education program whenever possible. See, as I said, why this is important? This is important to make them, bring them in a regular stream, in a regular society, where they are also a part of this society, and they are also contributing it. It's not that they are not contributing, they are only dependent. They have a lots of potential. We will discuss it later. Improve physical fitness. To improve the physical fitness of differently able students is another vital objective of adaptive physical education. In fact, modified or adapted exercises are provided in the program of adapted physical education to improve physical fitness. Motivate students to protect themselves. The next important objective of adapted physical education is to motivate differently able students to protect themselves under any condition that may be aggravate their certain physical activities. Promote sportsmanship qualities. To promote sportsmanship quality amongst the differently able students is also one of the major objectives of adapted physical education. Participation in adapted physical education program naturally improve the sportsman's quality. As you know, said these days there is a Paralympics, Deaflympics, Special Olympic, Bharat and all. And as I discussed it earlier, there are lots of tournaments also happening for these children. So this is also one of the major thing which we can do it with these children. Develop knowledge of good mechanics. To develop knowledge of good body mechanics is another important objective of adapted physical education. In fact, adapted physical education help each individual to develop knowledge and sense of appreciation with regards to good body dynamics. So this is again another point which we have to think and do it for them. Now, improve social adjustment. See, to improve social adjustment among differently able students is another objective of adapted physical education. In fact, social adjustment are essential, especially in today's society. Participation in program of adapted physical education help the differently able student to make social adjustment. See, in society, they are also a major part of the society. And if we get success, that they also become a major part of our society and they are able to adjust themselves in our society, that will be the fantastic thing. As you know that I am a martial artist, so I will share one video. Here the differently abled people, they are performing it so nicely. You can just enjoy this video and then we go further. They are differently abled people, but they are able to perform, although they are doing their best and they are doing with their great enthusiasm. You can see that. Now, who are the organization who works on this uh, promoting the adaptive sports? Very first is a Special Olympic Bharat. Special Olympic Bharat is an official recognized program of Special Olympic International, which was started by Enid Kennedy Shriver, sister of John F. Kennedy, the former president of United States of America. Special Olympic Bharat is a movement that use sports as a catalyst to change the life of children and adults with intellectual disabilities or mentally challenged person. It was founded in 1987 as Special Olympic India and changed the Special Olympic Bharat in 2001. It is recognized by the government of India as a national sports federation for the development of a sports opportunity for the people with intellectual disabilities. The Special Olympic Bharat program has so far drawn a number of to work with 8,50,875 athletes across the country. Now, differently aspects are there the Special Olympic Bharat. Very first is why it is started. Is a mission, vision, goal, achievement, and benefits. I will not go in a very brief of this. I will just take 1 minute. Like mission is to these differently abled people, to involve them because they are mentally retired. They are mentally not normal. So the mission is to involve them in a proper society, and they have a great potential. So basically this was started to use their potential. Vision is same, you can say that to involve them and use their potentials. There are the goals, achievement, and benefits. So I will go with the Special Olympic Bharat video, a small video, which will explain you much more. As you can see that this Now we come to the Paralympic Games. The Paralympic Games are major international multi-sports event for the athletes with various disabilities, such as athlete with mobility disabilities, amputation, blindness, and cerebral palsy. Paralympic Games are held at the interval of every 4 years following the Olympic Games. These games are governed by the International Paralympic Committee. The first Paralympic Games was held in Rome in 1960. However, the Paralympic word was used officially in 1988 Summer Olympics Games, which was held in Seoul. These were the Summer Paralympic Games. The first Winter Paralympic Games were held in 1976 in Sweden. The Winter Paralympic Games also held in every 4 years. Now, there is a small video. I want to share it with you.
The Paralympic Games represents the pinnacle of sporting events for people with physical and intellectual disabilities. The Paralympic Games dates back to 1948, when an archery tournament for 16 individuals in wheelchairs was held at an English hospital as part of the patient's rehabilitation, coinciding with the London Olympic Games. The event has now grown into a competition with more than 4,000 para-athletes from 164 countries participating. The major feature of the Paralympic Games is the wide variety of events. At the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games, there were 22 sports encompassing 528 events, while there were 28 sports encompassing 306 events at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. This is because of the broad range of athletes' disabilities and the required number of corresponding events. The reason I swim is to demonstrate my value as a human and to grow day by day. I don't want my limitations to be assessed by other people due to the fact I don't have hands and only one leg. I am the only one who decides what kind of person I am, and the most important thing is not to limit myself. Your dream is something you create yourself, and anyone has the power to make his or her dreams come true.
Well, the Paralympic Games are one of the most exciting, spectacular, fascinating sport events in the world because of the performances of the athletes on the field of play, but also because of the societal changes that the Paralympic Games drives. And it's so powerful because the vehicle is a sport, and because who is, I would say, driving that change are the athletes on the field of play. You feel the passion of the athletes, you understand the overcoming stories, you see them in action, and you can connect, you know, in a way, even though you might have or not a disability, but the overcoming part of it, we all overcame something in our lives. So, and to see that overcoming and then achieving a medal or achieving a result or just qualifying to a final, no one comes to the Paralympic Games and goes back home feeling the same. That is a transformation, and it comes from within. That is why it's so powerful.
So this is the logo of a International Paralympic Committee and Games. Now, we talk about the International Paralympic Committee. It is a global governing body of a Paralympic movement. The International Paralympic Committee organizes the Summer and Winter Paralympic Games. It also serves as an international federation for 9 sports, for which it supervise and coordinate the World Championship and other competition. Its vision to enable Paralympic athletes to achieve sporting excellence and inspire and excite the world. It was established in 22nd September 1989. Its headquarters is in Bonn, Germany. Its main aim is to develop sports opportunity for all the people with impairment for the beginner of elite level. I'm not going with this video because we have a less time. So I will go to the next slide. We come to the Deaflympics. Now, earlier the Deaflympic used to be called World Game for the Deaf. The Deaflympics are the International Olympic Committee sanctioned event in which deaf athletes compete at the elite level. These games have been organized by the International Committee of Sports for the Deaf since the first event. The Deaflympics are more than just the world's second almost multiple sports after Olympics. These games are the world fastest growing sports event. The Deaflympics are held once in 4 years. The first games held in Paris, France in 1924 were also the first ever international sporting events for athletes with disabilities. Since 1924, these games have been held persistently after every 4 years. However, these games were not held twice due to World War II. Deaflympics Winter Games started in 1949. In 1924 in Paris, only 148 athletes from 9 European countries participated in these games, but gradually it was increased and it became the one of the major event in the world. Now we come to the concept of inclusion, need of inclusion, inclusive education. When we talk about the need of inclusive education, it is for self-esteem, for better social skill and communication, greater sensitivity, for better understanding and strength and weakness, for better sense of belongingness, higher academic achievement. I'm not going in a detail of these all. Now we come to the very major part, role of various professionals for children with special needs. Without them, we cannot cope up, we cannot make them, we cannot bring them in the main society. The role of a various professionals such as a school counselor, occupational therapist, physiotherapist, etc. for children with special need is really vital. They help and support such children in achieving their full potential, improving their motor skill, giving ability to communicate properly, and in promoting their mental as well as physical health. Now, who are they? School counselor. School counselor is basically the psychologist who are there in every school in our MAT. In every school there are school counselors, and they are basically expert in their psychology subject. Now physiotherapists are the most. Now occupational therapists. What is the role of occupational therapist? उनको बटन बंद करना नहीं आता है, शर्ट पहनना नहीं आता है, उनको पहनना सिखाते हैं, उनको बोलना सिखाते हैं, खाना सिखाते हैं. So ये सब चीजें occupational therapist कराते हैं. So these are the people who help them. Now very important, we physical education teacher, we have a great responsibility, big responsibility for these children. If in our class, if in our school these children comes, we should not ignore them. We should make them, we should bring them in our class, we should encourage them in our class. And this is very important. Now speech therapists, they have a difficulty to talk, so they give them the exercise to speech properly. And special educator in every school, in our school also, there is a special educator like Montessori lab बोलते हैं ना, या फिर उनका जो स्पेशल एजुकेटर रूम होता है, वहाँ जाके बहुत सारे बच्चे पढ़ते हैं. Even they go there and give the examinations and all. So these are the people who help these children to come up and come in the main society and achieve their goal. Now in this chapter, basically, what are the takeaways? I didn't go in a very detail because of the time strain, but I can just say how to increase self-confidence in these children, how to increase the academic level of these children, how to develop their motor skills, how to develop the social skills, how to help the normal students to adjust with these children also. Now we are going to have a quiz time. So all of you, I request everybody to join myquizy.com, and this is the link.
Jitesh sir, link is please
सर
posted in the chat.
myquizy में जा करके वो हो जाएगा. This is the अगर आप myquizy में जाएंगे, myquizy में जाके ये कोड एंटर करेंगे, वो ऑलरेडी लॉग इन हो जाएगा. Everybody is able to do it. This is joinmyquiz.com. You can see on the screen joinmyquiz.com. Are you able to join? I'm waiting for the participants to join. You can open a tab and just write down joinmyquiz.com and then you can enter in this with this code. Join code 685152.
Sir, and share the link as well in the chat box. I think that is also will help us to open
Two
directly.
people they joined it. I'm sharing it. So everybody is able to join. Should I start the quiz? Okay, I can see, you can also see on the screen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 people are there. So I'm going to start this quiz. All of you, best of luck. Thank you very much, sir. I have done with my presentation. Thank you all. Thank you all for participating and guiding me. And thank you, sir.
So teachers, please feedback form already posted in chat box. So 11:15. जो फीडबैक फॉर्म 11:15 पर पोस्ट किया है वो RP1 मिस्टर विजय पयाल के लिए है एंड सेकंड फीडबैक फॉर्म 12:07 पर पोस्ट किया है ये RP2 रिसोर्स पर्सन 2 मिस्टर जितेश कुमार के लिए है सो प्लीज fill it up. I take this opportunity again to thanks today's resource persons, Mr. Vijay Payal and Mr. Jitesh Kumar, for their valuable inputs in chosen topics and for their interactive session. Thanks again. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So please अपना
Thank you,
feedback
sir.
form जरूर fill कर दीजिएगा.
थैंक यू सर।
इसमें टॉपिक में नहीं है सर जितेश सर का टॉपिक में नहीं है इसमें क्या आप करें
सर सब कुछ है अवेलेबल है अगर आप ध्यान से देखेंगे सब कुछ दिखाई देगा.